Hey, it's Mike over at fishyourassoff.com, and today what we're talking about is when to go weedless. I like fishing with weedless hooks just because I'm cheap. I don't like losing so many jig heads on things. So if you set something up weedless, you can really have a lot more confidence if you got to cast up into some mangroves or into where a dock is or oyster bars or whatever. So just want to talk about the different weedless setups and when, in my opinion anyways, you might want to go weedless. So let's go ahead and check them out. All right, when should you go weedless? Around structure. So if you're pitching docks for, say, reds or, flounder, snook, whatever, the structure of a dock piling is going to hold, you probably want to have something rigged weedless. Throwing it up in there, if it's flounder and red, something that you can bounce on the bottom, get through there. Or if it's a snook you're targeting, maybe some sort of swim bait. And I'm going to show you a few of those. All right. Here's it's hard to see, that white on white background. We'll move it over here. So here's one. What is this? I'll give a commercial. This is Charlie's. They make all the bass worms and stuff that you probably use. They're over in Port Salerno. But here's a nice little swim type weedless hook. This has the thing you'd shove in there. It's got this weighted hook. So this thing swims right there in the paddle tail. This is a great one for pitching docks for snook. I mean, this is a big 5/0 hook, so it's got a wide gap there. This is a great weedless bait to pitch a dock with. This is the pearl version. They have a kind of a more realistic green looking thing. This is Charlie's. This is a really good one. What's it called? A super zipper dipper. Yeah, that's what that's called. So that's a great one. If you want to go with a smaller version, here's another one. This one comes from Owner. So this is another way to rig it. This is one that I would be bouncing on the bottom and jigging on the bottom. What's this one called? Owner twist lock. It's a 1/8 weighted thing. That's a great way to set up your. Here's the difference. So here's one that's just a regular jig head that's going to get caught on everything. The exact same bait rigged weedless is going to bounce through all of that material that might get you snagged. So you really, and of course, I think about the best weedless thing is toss a weedless spoon up there. I think this is Johnson. This is something I use all the time for just about every fish inshore. So rigging weedless definitely has its advantages. Something you want to think about. And it's usually a hook that looks like this. This is the Owner version where they have the little screw thing on top. You just screw it in, bring this through the body. Owner's got a nice wide gap so you don't miss a lot of fish when you set it. So rigging weedless is the way to go a lot of times. So that's if you're fishing docks or bridges or somewhere with lots of snags. Oyster bars. Oyster bars take so many lures from people. They're just like razor blades. So another great time to do that. You're fishing for some redfish around an oyster bar. Gosh, having a weedless whatever is gonna, save you so much money. You might lose 10 jig heads on one oyster bar if they're not rigged weedless. Grass flats. Well, not necessarily. If you're not in the grass, I'll use something like this. Just a regular jig head type of setup. But if I'm bouncing it off the bottom, I'm gonna rig it weedless. So it's gonna be this setup. So it just depends on how you're actually fishing those grass flats. And mangroves. Well, mangroves take so many lures from so many people. If you're fishing mangroves, the bottom of those roots almost always have barnacles and oysters on them, you're going to get cut off. You're going to lose a lot of tackle fishing around mangroves. So that's another time. If I'm trying to get up in those roots and, I'm casting some soft plastic or a gold, a spoon or whatever it is, if I'm looking for reds and snook, well, weedless is the way to go. It's going to give you a lot more confidence because basically, if you throw up to these mangroves, you have to be within about a foot to 18 inches of the mangrove roots to get that fish to want to come eat. If you're, say, 3 feet out, they're not going to do it. They're not going to come out. They feel safe. Their forage is in there. So you got to get super close to the mangroves to catch those reds and snook that are up in there. So a weedless hook is going to save you a lot of time, money, and anguish as you're, because you're not going to lose as many of them. But going weedless, you should definitely have some weedless type hooks in your tackle box just for that. Like I said, if you're out on the grass flats or in open water, not so much, But if you're really going to be fishing somewhere where you have some cover and a lot of snags and a lot of things, rig it weedless. It's going to save you a lot of heartache in the end and a lot of money too. You're going to lose a lot less lures doing it that way. But I think that's it. This is just another one of those things. I get these questions and so I do a little class on them. But yeah, you definitely want to have some weedless type hook setups. If you start losing a bunch of hooks, you switch over to weedless, you're going to lose a lot less hooks, is I guess the bottom line. But you can see more of this information right there online. It's www.fishyourassoff.com. We have a how-to section, a where-to section, a what-to section, videos. Whatever you need to know is on that website, basically, for Florida inshore fishing. We have some offshore stuff too, but it's just not what I do very often. So the 90% of the website is inshore type fishing. But that's it. Hope you liked it. Hope you enjoyed it. Have a nice day.